It is time for a little fun with spare change, and just when you think you've bought all the holiday gifts you need, and you've just about broken the bank, by the way, you have that sinking feeling. You forgot to tip the hairstylist, the nanny, the mailman. Who are we supposed to tip during the holidays, and how much? Here to help us is international etiquette expert Jacqueline Whitmore. Thank you so much for joining us. You know, this is a question that everyone has the holiday season. I have already received emails from other moms at school, from other people in my building, saying, what are we supposed to do? So let's sort it all out. What is the rule of...
Hello, Melissa.
Hello. What is the rule of thumb? I mean, is it anyone who provides a service, or how do you figure out who you have to tip?
I think you first have to make a list. Otherwise, we're all going to go in debt tipping everybody we know. And I think we have to sort it out and prioritize and tip those who make our lives a lot easier throughout the year.
So is that the rule of thumb, rather than saying, you know, it's strictly anyone who provides a service, you know, versus something else in your life, that it's, if you make my life easier, I'm going to tip you?
Well, I think you have to really think about who you see often. For example, I always tip my manicurist, my hairdresser, and if you have a doorman or a pool person, these are the kinds of people you see regularly, housekeeper. And you have to tip them if you want better service in the coming year.
Or pay the price later with a really bad haircut. How do you decide how much? I'm looking at a list that we kind of put together from a bunch of different sources. Manicurist, $25. How do we come up with that number, you think?
I believe that you tip what you can, because there aren't any real industry standards. But usually for a manicurist, you would tip an extra $25. For a hairdresser, it might be the cost of one haircut. For a personal trainer, it would be the cost of one personal training session. So it can get confusing.
Yeah, no, absolutely. You know, barber, same thing. We're saying if you go to the barber and it's about $15 to get a haircut, you'd want to do that. How about a housekeeper? If you have somebody who comes in once a week and cleans your house, what do you give them?
You usually give the housekeeper a 1 week salary. Now, my housekeeper comes every 3 weeks, so I give her a one-time payment. Exactly.
I got it. Here in New York, this is a big one. Anyone who lives in an apartment, the super and the doorman. Now, this is somebody who's obviously really important because they're guarding the front door to your apartment. I mean, you see them every day. But also there can be, depending on how big your building is, there can be a lot of them. So how much do you give, and how do you deal with it?
Well, that's right. I mean, there could be multiple doormen. And let's say that you're short on cash one year and you like to bake, or you're kind of crafty. Don't think that you always have to give money. Now, money is always cash is king, as they say.
Right.
But don't think that you can't give other forms of tipping, like cash cards or movie theater tickets.
Well, but cash cards and movie theater tickets are a long way from getting crafty. Like, I feel like if I make a homemade ornament and hand it to my doorman or my super, instead of giving him cold hard cash, he's going to be like, you can carry your own packages up from now on. No?
Well, that's knowing your doorman's personality, and I totally agree with you there. In that case, you would do that. But let's say for your child's school teacher, you oftentimes are not allowed to give monetary gifts to certain people. Like, you really shouldn't give money to your postman, and I would suggest giving a gift like homemade fudge or homemade cookies, or something that still says, I thank you for your service all these months, but happy New Year, Merry Christmas, Happy Hanukkah.
Okay. What about, you mentioned the mailman, what about newspaper carrier, your garbage man, the people that provide services like that? But, you know, I mean, they may be paid by the state or by the community. Is that awkward? Are they still looking for cash?
No, not necessarily. For the postman, they can't accept gifts more than $20. So in that case, you might want to give your postman something homemade, or maybe a gift basket of some sort. For your trash carriers, I don't know. I think that's up to you if you want to tip them. They come so early in the morning. I'm usually not awake when they're
I know, but then they deserve more because they're there so early dealing with your garbage. It all comes out to a lot of money. We totaled it up. Even the people we mentioned, it was $395. It's a fortune, but it's once a year. Jacqueline, thanks so much.